Kansas was a fun little treat for all three series. Think of it as an appetizer before the main course in Talladega and the dessert at the Charlotte Roval. Welcome to episode 33 of the Louisiana Divebomb podcast. We just came off a fantastic weekend of racing at Kansas Speedway for the trucks, the Xfinity, and the Cup cars. So we'll go ahead and start with the Cup cars. And first off, let me just say Christopher Bell, he's guaranteed pole for the next two races at Kansas because this is his third straight pole at the racetrack. So he was the car to beat early on in the going. He led, I think, 122. Yes, he led 122 laps, easily the most dominant car. But different strategies came into play, and different cars were coming through the field. Some cars came to life earlier than others, and some just really didn't do that. But somehow I missed this. We had a lap one wreck. This involved 5 cars, it said. So Josh Berry was the main one. He was out from the beginning. I still didn't get a good look at this, so I'm not really sure what else to say about it, but Jimmy Johnson was in it. That's not good. J.J. Yaley was in it. Didn't know he... Well, actually, no, he wasn't in it. The 16 of... Was that Allmendinger? Who was in the 16 car? I'm trying to figure out. I literally have no recollection of this ever happening. Probably because I didn't tune in until like lap 8. But I thought that they had already gone green by then. It said the 16, Ty Dillon. Okay. Ty Dillon was in it. Harrison Burton was in it. It said Chase Elliott was in it. Chase Elliott had to dig himself out of a deep hole in the beginning. So he had to make an engine change in the middle of practice. He put a qualifying lap down, but it was 2 seconds off pace. So he had to start from the back early. Apparently he was caught up in that wreck, which I didn't know about. And then another playoff driver had severe issues, and it was his teammate, Kyle Larson. Now this I did see, just running along 1 and 2, and he just cuts a tire, and that basically set him back for the entire race. He just could not get anything going his way. He was outside the top 20 for literally the entirety of the race, even I think through green flag pit stop. So Kyle Larson just really didn't get going, was just fighting a battle throughout the entirety of the race. He finished 26th, so he's still in a good spot points-wise, but Talladega, nothing's guaranteed. Then we roll on through stage 1, and then quite a bit happened in stage 2, which I don't really recall some of these either. Probably because I was watching football in the middle of that. And I'm not going to lie, I did doze off a bit because no one was on. So I just watched on my TV. I sat down on my bed and I was just getting comfy. And then I got too comfy. And then I had to just go back to the chair that I was sitting in. But Eric Jones wrecked the 31. That is Daniel Hemrick. Corey LaJoie and John Nemechek wrecked. Now this one is interesting because oh my God, it happened. I saw the 7, immediately think of Corey LaJoie. It's not Corey LaJoie. It's Justin Haley. This is the first race where the two are swapping rides. Justin Haley now in the 7, Corey LaJoie in the 51. This one was weird because Justin Haley, Stephen Parsons, the spotter of the 7, they're still trying to get on the same page communication-wise. So Justin Haley was in the middle 3 wide. He just really veered left into John Nemechek, which caused the front of his car to like buckle up in the air and whatnot. So that was a very strange incident. And then almost something similar happened with on the next restart, Kyle Busch and Austin Cindric. So Cindric just washes up. I don't even think he washed it. He moved up into the 8 and then spun around. Not the day that Austin Cindric needed. He would finish 34th. Oh, that was really bad. He was inside the top 10 or just hovering around the top 10 at that point. Then we get to the end of stage 2, thank God. And then we get to stage 3. Now, this is where things get interesting because different guys stay out, different strategies come into play. William Byron, it seemed like from those that pitted and Alex Bowman, they were flying through the field, but they couldn't get up to the top 3, which was Chastain, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Truex Jr. was slowly closing in on Chastain and Busch as they were battling for the lead. Chastain would lead for a bit, and then Kyle Busch would get right back. And then they pit under green, and everything cycles through. So it seems like Kyle Busch is going to be winning, but here comes the one of Chastain. So Chastain making it hard for Kyle Busch to race his way through lap traffic and catches up on Chase Briscoe. Now he's running 26th. He's a playoff driver. He's trying to stay on the lead lap. Kyle Busch sees an opportunity to go to the outside, and then they're coming up on the exit of 2. Things get tight. Not sure if the 14 moves up to give dirty air to the 8 and then throw his whole balance off, because that's exactly what happened. Dirty air played a part. Kyle Busch lost control of the car, hit the wall, almost spun into the one of Chastain, but then spun to the inside of the racetrack, and caution came out with about 30 to go. So that was not ideal at all. Now, Kyle Busch, I just don't know if he's going to win this season. I just don't know if he can. Like, RCR's brought speed for the 8 since the summer break, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just running out of time. He's won a race in every year of Cup competition he's been in since 2004, except this year. There's still time, but it's dwindling in a hurry. So Kyle Busch was able to recover nicely, but, well, I say nicely, but he finished outside the top 15. And then, ironic enough, the next yellow is Carson Hocevar, Todd Gilliland, and Chase Briscoe. So go figure that the 14's in that. So he's going to be in a pickle heading into Talladega as well. Then we get a fun little finish for the last 20 laps of the race where Ross Chastain's trying to hold on. Truex Jr. and William Byron are battling for position. Ryan Blaney got bailed out big time from the yellows happening because he was reporting that it felt like a loose wheel on his car, but he just stayed out there, just risking it if his car was going to fall off or hit the wall, or if the tire was just going to stay on, and the tire stayed on. Then the yellow happened, so he got bailed out from that immensely. But nonetheless, we had an upset. A non-playoff driver won the opening round of 12 race, and that was Ross Chastain in the 1, getting his first win of the season, and first win since Phoenix of last year at the championship round. So Ross Chastain, that car came to life in the second half of the race, or really in the third stage. Really getting the job done. Did a super long burnout, got every corporate logo that was on the one, a burnout opportunity. So good on you, Ross. Stealing the win from William Byron, who was able to come away with a second place finish. I think he sits atop the point standings. I want to double check. Because Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, those guys, they did not have a good day at Kansas, whereas William Byron did. So yes, he is currently 30 points above the cut line. He's the points leader heading into Talladega, so keep that in mind. Martin Truex Jr. seemed like if the race would have went green a little bit longer, he would have had an opportunity, because in that last 5 laps, he was charging. He was able to close the gap to within a second from Ross Chastain, who was closing in on William Byron. If he had 5 more laps, maybe he would have gotten there, but third place will do for the 19, who started 19, so that's ironic. The 12 of Ryan Blaney finished 4th. Now, Blaney had a solid day. Then he had an issue on pit road, and then his car, under green flag conditions, the green flag stop, where he complained that it felt like a loose wheel, and then the crew chief basically gave it up to him, saying, do you want to come in or do you want to stay out? And then he chose to stay out and just risk it because he didn't want to pit, lose all the positions, lose a lap. So, played it relatively dangerous, but in the end it worked out with the yellows, so he finished 4th, and that's a big points day for him in the number 12, because he is second highest on points. He is 24 good to the cutoff. Ty Gibbs finished 5th. Good run for him. Alex Bowman, really solid run. Needed that. He is +4 to the cutoff line. He had a top 10 car the entire day. So, same with Christopher Bell, although he kind of faded off after the first couple of stages. He faded off. Um, he finished 7th, but in points he's 3rd, and he is the same amount back as, or same amount ahead of the cutoff as Blaney with 24 points to the good. Denny Hamlin, he also had a pretty good car, but he just couldn't get out of the crappy situations from pit road. So he was 5th. So he's 5th in the standings, and he is +7 to the good. So Denny needs a good run at Talladega. Chase Elliott made something out of nothing. He really had nothing to work with. He had to completely change the engine, worked his way from all the way in the last 38th to a top 10 finish. He finished 9th on the day, so that's good for Chase Elliott. Points-wise, he is basically tied with Joey Logano at the cutoff, +4. They're +4 to the cutoff. So the next one up, Zane Smith, he finished top 10 for Spire Motorsports. It might be his last top 10 for that team before he moves on. But you never know. Some other notables, we'll just look at the playoff drivers, really. Daniel Suarez finished 13th, and that 99 is below the cutoff line. Oh, I don't know why I didn't do this, so, okay. He is -14 to the cutoff line, even after a 13th place finish. Joey Logano finished right behind him in 14th. He is also +4 to the cutoff line. And then we get a little further back, 24th, Chase Briscoe. He is almost dead last. He's -25 to the cutoff line. Tyler Reddick did not have a good run. I don't know what it was at last stage, but he was right around top 10, would fade off in the longer run, but he just really faded off bad. I don't know what went wrong with him. He finished 25th, and he is now below the cutoff line, -4. That is astounding from the 45. Kyle Larson mentioned the flat tire he had in lap 18, lap 20. Really couldn't get anything going for the rest of the race, but somehow, some way, he still finished 26th, and he is still +18 to the cutoff line, which is huge, because if he won the regular season title, those +15, it would have been, he'd be +33 to the good right now, but Tyler Reddick needing every bit of those points to just stay alive, but even then, he's still below the cutoff line. And then Austin Cindric was basically top 10, outside the top 10 kind of car, and then he wrecked, and he finished 34th, so he is -29 to the cutoff line, heading into Talladega. This is going to be interesting, because it being in the middle of the race, or in the middle of the round, how aggressive will some guys be? You gotta assume that Suarez, Briscoe, Cindric, they're going to be wanting to get up front, contend for stage points, stage wins. Everything's going to matter at the very end. Denny Hamlin's probably going to do his strategy of staying in the back at super speedways, which it should work this time. Should work this time. It's at Talladega. It's not a mile and a half. It's 2.66 miles. Whereas everyone else, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I don't know if Chase Elliott's going to be up front. Ryan Blaney won this race last year by a nose over Kevin Harvick. Christopher Bell could always just pull through and win. Bowman could win. And we could see an upset winner. I say upset winner as in a non-playoff driver winning, but like a Spire Motorsports kind of driver will win. I don't know. So we'll leave on that note. We'll go back to the Xfinity Series, which in my opinion was the best race of the weekend. Just phenomenal racing in that last stage with Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, Eric Almirola, a 3-car battle. That was just phenomenal. Let me look. There were some other things that happened, obviously, which played a huge factor into the point standings and the way they're shaped right now. So one of the bigger things, there were a lot of people upset at different drivers. This happened in the beginning. So Sammy Smith got dumped essentially by the 16 of AJ Allmendinger, like 3 or 4 laps in. So that put Sammy Smith in a bad position for basically the majority of the race, because he just kept saying, oh, this car's killed, the car's dead, and then the crew's like, no, you're fine, we'll get it back out there. But nonetheless, his race was derailed early. And then the next big thing was Justin Allgaier. So this is coming off on a restart. So dirty air plays a factor into this because the 88 of Connor Zilisch washes up in front of Allgaier, and then he slides into the 18 of Sheldon Creed, and then he spins to the inside wall, hits the inside wall, and Allgaier's day is done. He would go back out, and he would just cut a tire, hit the wall, come back in, and that'd be that. He'd be done. So Allgaier in a bad spot, really bad spot points-wise to kick off the playoffs. Not what you want to see if you're a fan of the 7. And then we had a debris yellow, which kind of thwarted a... well, actually, no, the debris yellow, in the middle of green flag pit stops, a tire was rolling off a pit road and basically onto the racetrack. So they had to throw the caution for that. And it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So it was Parker Retzlaff's pit crew where they're wheeling the tire back. The tire literally just didn't want to go. Like, they're rolling it, and then the tire just makes a sharp turn and then goes away from the pit boxes. I've never seen anything like that. So then it sets us up for this basically a 50-lap stint to the finish where Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, they're duking it out. They're going hard. Turn 3 and 4 were very different for both guys. So Chandler Smith would run the outside, and then midway through he'd go back middle, and then he'd come back up on corner exit. Whereas Cole Custer, he would just ride the top all the way around. But the way that he did it was so impressive because he rode the outside lane, and then he would gas it up in the middle of the corner, try to get alongside the quarter panel of the 81, and corner exit, he just couldn't get the run through because he had to back out, otherwise he'd go in the wall. So Chandler Smith would do that, and I guess this one occasion he cut it a little bit too close, and then he kind of pinched the 00 into the outside wall, in which that ticked off Cole Custer. But here comes Almirola. Almirola had the best car. Long run, that 20 car was the car to beat. And it's insane because he kept getting screwed on his pit stop. So he had the fighting claw for the entire race just to get up here. But that 20 car was the car to beat. So he comes through and he takes the lead late in the going. I believe he took the lead with 3 to go from Cole Custer. So Custer finally got around Chandler Smith with 10 to go. And then the 20's on his bumper. He's closing in. And then he had the better car. Nothing you could do about it. So he got around him with 3 to go. Cruised on to a victory. Aric Almirola, second Xfinity win of the season. He's the 4th different driver to win 2 races. And then number 20. No, John Hunter Nemechek, Ryan Truex. I don't know who else was in it. I forget. But nonetheless, can't forget that Almirola returns to the track where his career was basically altered. 2017, where he was in a fiery crash, broke his back. So to come back and get a win, pretty cool to see. Cole Custer was the highest finishing playoff driver with a second place finish, but he had some choice words to say about the 81, saying the hill race. I'm like, that payback's coming, which, okay, all right, let's just get this straight. You're battling for the win, okay? And Chandler Smith said this as well, where he's like, he knows why the 00 is mad, but at the same time, it's for the win. He's going to try to put himself in the best position possible to win. Was it intentional? No, wasn't intentional, but Cole Custer took offense to that, so I guess that's something we have to keep an eye on for the next couple of races. So Chandler Smith finished 3rd, obviously. Connor Zilisch, P4, his first mile and a half start. He was sideways in the beginning, and then just over time, the 88 made changes, and they were good changes because he kept going to the front. And he wound up with a top 5 finish. So did Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed had a top 5 finish. Got through Brandon Jones late in the go, and he finished 6th. Austin Hill finished 7th. He was in a bit of a conundrum as well. We'll get into that in a bit. Shane Van Gisbergen was the one that benefited the most from this caution with the tire being on the racetrack or the edge of the racetrack, because he was one of the ones who didn't pit at that point. Then the caution comes out, pits, and then he gets through with a top 10 finish. We know the ovals were going to be a challenge for SVG because his only wins on the season were on road courses. So that puts him in a good spot points-wise heading into Talladega. Jesse Love finished 9th. Riley Herbst 10th. He had a run-in with Austin Hill. He wasn't too thrilled with it, so this was coming to the end of stage 2, where the 21 just comes up on corner exit and just dumps the 98. So the 98. So he doesn't get any stage points from that. Austin Hill did, and that's going to be huge points-wise because Riley Herbst is in +1 to the cut line. And had he got those stage points, he probably would have been +4, because it was for +5, maybe +6. It was for 6th on the racetrack, so that's what happened there. Josh Williams benefited with a 11th place run. Parker Kligerman 12th. Sam Mayer 13th. AJ Allmendinger finished 14th. Sammy Smith 22nd, and Allgaier 36th. So points wise, Cole Custer, Chandler Smith, they had easily the best cars of the playoff drivers in that race. So both of them are sitting good. Cole Custer's +41 to the cutoff line. Chandler Smith +36. Austin Hill +26 heading into Talladega. Might be a contender. You never know. Things can happen where he wrecked out in the spring. So keep that in mind as Sam Mayer's +13 to the cutoff. Sheldon Creed's +10. Shane Van Gisbergen's +8. Jesse Love +3. Riley Herbst +1. Allgaier entered. I don't think he entered as a 1 seed, but wrecking out at Bristol, losing the regular season championship, that's huge. That would have been 15 bonus points. He would have been +14 after his miscue at Kansas. Now he's -1 to the cutoff line. Allmendinger -13, Kligerman -15, Sammy Smith -22 heading into Talladega. This is going to be absurd. We know, I know Parker Kligerman's going to be up there. He always seems to run well these super speedway races. Had a good shot in the past in spring. Didn't get it. Jesse Love won in the spring. Austin Hill won pole in the spring, but he wrecked out. Sheldon Creed always seems to run well these super speedway races. Justin Allgaier wrecked out early in the spring. So there's a lot of moving factors here. And mentioned all the drivers that were pissed off with each other. So after the race, Sammy Smith and AJ Allmendinger had a conversation. They were pissed off with each other. Riley Herbst and Austin Hill had a conversation. Riley was pissed off. Austin Hill just kept apologizing because he knows that he messed up, and it's the playoffs. You can't mess up. You're +26. Riley Herbst is +1. Talladega, Charlotte Roval, don't want to be doing that. And then Cole Custer and Chandler Smith had a conversation after the race. So there were a lot of drivers who were upset with each other, and obviously, realizing it's all playoff drivers. All playoff drivers that had beef with each other throughout the Kansas race. So this is going to be interesting for what Talladega holds in store. And the Truck Series race happened at Kansas as well. I don't remember too much from it, but it was an elimination race, so we had to eliminate 2 drivers, go from 10 to 8 before Talladega. So Corey Heim, even though he started dead last, was able to drive his way through the field. I believe he led the most laps. Looking. Who else led laps? Ty Majeski. Oh yeah, the pole sitter. Duh. But Corey Heim just had the best truck, even after the issues in practice and qualifying. Started 33rd, but won the race. He led 64 laps. So, I mean, we already knew he was locked into the next round anyway. But Lane Riggs finished second. Lane Riggs. It really sucks, man. Day late, dollar short. Had he made the playoffs with a win at Richmond, oh my gosh, he'd be in such a good spot right now. But all it takes is just that one win, and then something clicks. Where he won in Milwaukee, then he won at Bristol, finished second at Kansas. Lane Riggs finishing the season on a hot note. Good to see. So, like I said, the season's not lost for the 38. They're going to go out and try to do everything they can to win races and put themselves in the best spot possible, and they did just that. I did not expect this from Lane Riggs. We usually see him perform at the short tracks very well. Tracks bigger than that, kind of meh, but nice to see everything's going well over there. Christian Eckes finished third. Caden Honeycutt fourth for Nice Motorsports, so that's good to see. Also very nice to see the 25 truck for Rackley War Racing. Dawson Sutton coming in and replacing Ty Dillon for the rest of the season. He finished top 5. Very solid finish for that team and that driver. Tanner Gray 6th, Rajah Caruth 7th, Bailey Curry 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, and Connor Mozak 10th. Nick Sanchez finished 12th, Tyler Anker 14th, Majeski 15th after leading 51 laps and getting the pole. Taylor Gray finished 18th, Ben Rhodes 22nd, and Daniel Dye 27th. Now those last two, Ben Rhodes, Daniel Dye, those are the ones that are eliminated from the playoffs after Kansas. So we head into the next races at Talladega, Homestead, Martinsville. I don't know why I said Charlotte, but it's Talladega, Homestead, Martinsville. It's going to be fun. Looking at the point standings, the points reset. So the ones on the outside looking in, Rajah Caruth -8, Tyler Anker -11, Enfinger also -11, and then Taylor Gray -15. Whereas the 4 currently looking to move on, Nick Sanchez +8, Ty Majeski +14, Christian Eckes +29, Corey Heim +38. Now, it will be unfathomable if either the 11 or the 19 do not make it to the championship round, because those two have been the dominant trucks all year. But like we saw in the championship race last year, really don't matter. You just got to stay out of trouble. One bad race that could cost you the season. So that's why we have Ben Rhodes win 2 championships. So don't want that to happen, but it could always happen. They got to get through Talladega first. So that's going to be the interesting part. I really don't know what to expect. So I don't have an outcome for that. Yeah, that's it. That was Kansas in a nutshell, which was fun, but Talladega is going to be even more fun because it's Talladega, obviously. So, Trucks Friday, usually they run Saturday, so that's good. Xfinity Series, I didn't know they were still going to Talladega. I thought that was just a one-time thing that happened from COVID, and they let it go on for a couple more years, and then I thought they stopped doing that last year, but I guess they're back. So that'll be fun. And then, obviously, the Cup Series, racing at Talladega on a Sunday. So we get Friday, Saturday, Sunday full of racing at Talladega. And it doesn't stop there because Area, even though they're on an off week this week, except for the Pro Series, they're going to Talladega as well. So really, if you think about it, if you're part of that Area bubble, or if you like watching Talladega racing, you get 5 straight days of races at Talladega, where real trucks, the NASCAR Truck Series, Friday, the Xfinity Series, Saturday, NASCAR Cup Series, Sunday, Area Cup Series, Monday, Area Truck Series, Tuesday, so that's 5 straight races, and then we have an off day on Wednesday, and then the Area Pro Series on Thursday. So if you think about it, from Friday to Thursday, you'll have 6 days of racing at Talladega. It's going to be fun, and especially fun for Area 2 because that's the cutoff race for the regular season. So we start to bunch everything down for the playoffs. It's going to be real fun. Make sure you tune in to Area iRacing on Twitch, or you can watch it on SimTV's YouTube page. So that'll be fun to watch. And please check out huntersleppingmedia.com. I know I said I was going to do articles, but I just didn't get to it. Betting wise, I did really good. Hit a parlay. Caden Honeycutt top 5, Sheldon Creed top 5, Alex Bowman top 10. That seemed like easy money, although it wasn't that easy. It was really hard to see Caden Honeycutt outside the top 5, but then he worked his way through. Sheldon Creed, better long run car than Brandon Jones, which I thought if I lose this to Brandon Jones, I'm going to be so upset, but that didn't happen. So good on that. And then Alex Bowman, top 10 car the entire race. So that was phenomenal. I doubt I'm going to hit anything like that for Talladega. If I do, that'll be insane. Cup Series, I did good. I had Byron top 5. Who else did I have? I had Bowman top 10, obviously. I also decided to live bet Ross Chastain plus 700 to win. Won. So that's another $80, and then another 50 on that. So overall, it was a pretty good week. pretty good week. And then I bet on Alabama to win, and fortunately they were able to come away with that. Good God, I don't know how that game even got close, but Bama hung on. Roll Tide. So that's that. Check out huntersleepymedia.com for my Talladega picks. It's going to be phenomenal. If you love the underdog or the long shot, I'll have plenty of those for you. And then just check out the YouTube page, DDH88. You already know this is already on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. We'll have reactions for Talladega because no one was in during the weekend because some of the guys are, well, they got real life shit going on, but some of the guys are also in Hurricane Helene's path, and some of them don't have power. So it's really a rough time down there for the Carolinas, especially Asheville. Like Western Carolina, they're gone. Unbelievable what happened there. So some of the guys are still working on getting everything situated out there, but hoping for the best. For everyone out there, if you were in Hurricane Helene's path, hopefully things go your way, especially in Western Carolina. They need it bad. And Tennessee as well, that whole part just got ultimately rattled by the hurricane. So hoping everything comes out okay there. And then we'll catch you guys after Talladega. So see ya.